This video is not intended for you to substitute or add into your own training. Please get a professional to look over your specific needs before taking any of this information into your own daily activity. This video is for my clients to help give them a better understanding on what their body might be going through at said time and why I program the way that I program. Now, there's many different scenarios and things that can come into consideration that I'm not going to go into depth with. You should end this video with at least the knowledge to know why the things are happening in your body when you are focusing on said areas. I will be breaking these videos down into 3 different categories so that you can watch the short form and get specific information tailored to what you might be going through or the information that you're looking for. And there will be the main video, which will have it all out in its entirety, that you can watch start to finish to get all of the information without breaking. Before we go into the triangle that I've drawn up here, I'm going to focus on the X and Y axes. So starting at the 0 point here, if we're going up towards the cardio side, we're enhancing our cardiovascular fitness, or that should be the main goal. If we're going across the other axis here, we're focusing on strength or hypertrophy of the skeletal muscles for our body. Now, let's say that you don't strength train and you don't do any cardio yourself. No matter what somatotype you are, whether you are skinny and you're wanting to put on size, whether you are overweight and you're wanting to shrink yourself down, or whether you're generally a fit looking guy like the mesomorphs and you just want to change and get a little bit smaller or bigger. Now that you have your nutrition in check, you want to start adding some runs or some bike rides or some elliptical or a rower or some sort of cardiovascular fitness into your routine. Now, a couple of things here, and a lot of people do this, and this is where it goes wrong. As we increase our energy expenditure with cardiovascular exercise, daily needs or food requirements have to go up and increase with it. That being said, the calories that you planned for yourself before that you were just sticking under and was working for you without any cardio or weight training now has to be adjusted for the extra stress that's being provided on the body. If you want to keep improving, let's say that you don't make the change. Just focusing on nutrition, I wasn't doing any cardiovascular exercise and I wasn't doing any weight training. I then added 3 walks in a week and kept my nutrition exactly the same. At first, I started noticing my midline really starting to shrink. And I'm thinking, this is working. What I'm doing is really going well. Then, shortly after, I notice I'm getting a little bit faster in my strides. Go home, the scale is moving down in the direction that I'm wanting to head to. Weeks and weeks go by, I keep getting smaller, I keep getting lighter on the scales, and I'm thinking I'm doing everything correctly that I want to be doing. Winter comes around and I catch the common flu or cold that goes around. Does this sound familiar? This isn't bad luck. What you've been doing is that deficit that you've been providing, you've just been a little bit under your body's daily needs with all the micronutrients and all the other things that it needs to do all the bodily functions, keep your immunity and your health at its tip-top shape. The second a virus or illness starts coming around, your immune system is dropped because your nutrition hasn't been matching the new stress that you're providing on your body. You're then more likely to get sick or ill, thus ruining your training, ruining your goals. That's the first point. The second point, there's many different ways to get in our nutrients. We have omnivores, carnivores, pescatarians, vegans, vegetarians, breatharians. There's many. If you don't allow yourself adequate protein intake, not saying meat, but protein intake with all the amino acids that the body needs as well for the muscle recovery from the increased cardiovascular fitness or training, your body's not going to recover and it's going to feel like we don't need this heavy, dense muscle that our body has. You're going to then lose it. What this looks like for you guys, the scale weight is still going down. So you're really happy. But what's actually going on inside is you're losing strength and muscle density that you once had that's supporting your skeletal system. This then allows muscles to get stiffer and start to tighten up. your posture changes, could even start causing pain in specific areas. More importantly than that, because your body's not getting its daily needs, it thinks it's in a deprivative state. So it's going to start holding on to fat or make that less easy for you to burn off. And as we lose the muscle mass that we once had, because we're not eating our adequate protein in amounts, our muscle mass percentage and our fat percentage start to shift. That's what medical professionals are now calling the skinny fat body type. Because someone can be light on the scales and within normal BMI ranges, but their body fat mass far outweighs their skeletal muscle mass, and they are deemed still in the same dangerous territories as those who are obese people. Albeit you've made the adjustments with your nutrition to your new training load. This is where you can really start to get into some serious levels of cardiovascular fitness. Most of the elite endurance athletes that we see today have their nutrition and their cardio in check. Now this adjusts all the time because we can't always keep our training at the same level, otherwise we're going to burn out. But there's highs and lows and waves within our training. There also needs to be those same matched highs, lows, waves within our daily caloric intake needs and protein, carbs, fats, and micronutrient intake. Let's use a runner or a cyclist or a swimmer, for example. Now each dabble into a little bit of resistance training because with every step of the legs or cycle of the pedals or movement with the arms goes into specific muscle groups and counts as reps or resistance training on the body. So they are dabbling into a little bit of this. Now using the pen, this then means nutrition's in check and our cardio training's in check, and because we're doing rep after rep after rep and we're keeping consistent with it, we're slowly adding that resistance training aspect with our cardiovascular and our nutrition as our volume gets higher and keeps increasing. How do I put an example on this? Let's say day one, you've already figured out your nutrition and you've using the same example as before. I'm going for 3 walks a week. Let's say in those walks, I'm only doing 20 minutes and I'm getting a kilometer. Great. It doesn't matter where we're getting. It's a starting point and it's a measurable figure that we can now improve upon. In the same said time, I'm now getting up into a light jog with my walks because my scale weight's going down. I'm feeling much more energetic. I'm feeling way better in myself. My mobility is getting better because I'm up in this range here now and I'm going to attempt to run a bit. So my 3 walks have now turned into 3 runs a week. And I've gone from doing 3 kilometers in total weekly with my training to now I'm doing 4 kilometer runs every time. This then means I've gone from 3,000 meters of volume to 12,000 meters of volume in the same said time, which is increasing the volume load, maybe even the intensity as well. There are lots of other factors in it. This then means nutrition needs to come into check, but also means as I keep improving down that line, the further I go and the more reps I put in week after week after week, I'm slowly moving into the area of resistance training. So it's not always weights and in the gym. Resistance training is just repetitions over time with specific stress to the body.